Are we ready to start, Charles?
Yes, we are, yes.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's licensing subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Paul Alexander and I'll be chairing tonight's meeting. The meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. If I lose connection and I can't reconnect, Councillor Boricwan will take over for me. I'd like to remind all participants to please keep your microphones muted unless you are speaking. Keep your camera turned on when you speak at the hearing. Please note that the chat function is disabled. If parties wish to add any additional information other than at their allotted time, they must use the raise hand function so they are not missed. I also ask members that their questions and comments are brief and to the point. I now move to item 1 on the agenda. Apologies for absence. I think everybody's here. Declarations of interest. Do any members have any declarations of interest?
No, not from me.
So I'll move on to item 3. Pepe's Peri Peri, number 1 Wood Lane, London W12 7DP. I'd like to ask everyone participating to introduce yourself as I call on you. We should have with you Javid Gaswala, the applicant.
He's on the call, Chair.
Javid, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, sir.
Yeah. Does your camera work?
1 second.
So you don't have to keep it on all the time.
Yeah.
When you're speaking, it's useful for people if they can see who's speaking. Thank you. Cameron Raza, the applicant's representative.
Yeah, I think so. He's joined, or I don't know. He's out of the country, but he said he will join same time.
He's on the call as well, Chair.
Are you here, Cameron? Cameron, can you hear us? Can you nod your head if you can hear us? Okay, perhaps that will get sorted out in a minute. Lorna McKenna, the licensing officer.
Present, Chair.
Adrian Overton, the licensing team manager.
Present, Chair. Thank you.
And Emmanuel Mponsa, the council's legal officer.
Present, Chair.
Objecting, Katja Orel, resident.
Yes, hello, good evening.
Good evening, Katja. Lucy Goodman, resident.
He's the resident unable to join, Chair. Send apologies.
So it does say on my notes that she was representing James Neal. Has James Neal joined the meeting?
No, he hasn't. No, she was speaking on his behalf, so she's just hasn't been able to join, Chair.
So I can see Catherine McClancy, but I haven't got Catherine on my list, Charles.
Yes, it was a late registration, Chair. I sent you around some amended notes later on this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Catherine, are you hearing? Does your microphone work? Do you want to just unmute for a second? Okay, would you like to try unmuting?
Hi, Chair. I can speak now.
Thank you, Cameron. Okay, Catherine, I can see you're here, so I'm happy you are here. But when it comes to your turn to speak, could you please make sure your microphone's working? Because I think there may be a problem. I'll now go to the procedure, which I'll explain the procedure. We will hear from the following. The licensing officer will introduce the application. Residents will then speak in objection, and then finally the applicant will speak. Usually,
can I interrupt for 1 second? I apologise. I'm doing this from a telephone. If I leave mine on unmute, I won't say anything until it's my turn. But there's something wrong if I keep trying to turn it on and off.
Okay. Well, don't worry. We'll bear with you. But if you could turn it off the mute, because otherwise we get a feedback on the.
Well, then it's, for some reason, it's not allowing me to do that. The menu won't come up on the phone.
Okay, but it could cause us technical problems with feedback if you can't mute your
I
telephone.
better leave the meeting and try and come in again because there's something wrong with the, it's not working on the telephone.
Well, can I leave that with you, and I'll let Charles advise you if you if you need to leave the meeting and come back.
Okay.
So usually each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes. Following the presentation by all parties, the committee may ask questions of any party while the person is present at the hearing. Except committee members, no party has the right to ask questions of any other party at any time during the hearing. Following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their case or representation. The committee will then retire for deliberations. Upon its return, I will announce the committee's decision. Please keep your remarks as concise as possible. The presenting officer, can I ask the licensing officer, Lorna McKenna, introduce the application, please?
Yes, Chair. On the 23rd of August 2023, Arzana Limited, the applicant, submitted an application for a new premises licence in respect of the premises known as Pepe's Piri Piri, 1 Wood Lane, London, W12 7DP. The applicant proposes to operate as a hot food restaurant and takeaway and has applied for a premises licence to permit late night refreshment for the following hours. Sunday, but the provision of late night refreshment both indoors and outdoors, Sunday to Wednesdays between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m, Thursdays to Saturdays between the hours of 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. And the hours that the premises will be open is Sunday to Wednesday between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 a.m, Thursday to Saturday between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 a.m. On the 31st of August 2023, following correspondence received from the police licensing team, the applicant agreed to reduce the hours of late night refreshment if the licence is granted, which is detailed as the following. The provision of late night refreshment, both indoors and outdoors, Sundays to Thursdays between the hours of 11 p.m. till midnight, and Fridays and Saturdays between the hours of 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. The hours opening of the premises will be Sundays to Thursdays between the hours of 11 a.m. till midnight, and Fridays and Saturdays between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 a.m. On the 18th of September 2023, following the reduction of hours agreed with the police, the noise and nuisance team confirmed that they would not put in a representation against the application. During the consultation period, the licensing section received 8 representations from local residents objecting to the licence application being granted. The application has been advertised in alignment with the Act. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, you may not have seen this email, but earlier this afternoon, Catherine McClancy actually contacted me and says she has a commitment this evening. So could she speak first, please, as the first objector this evening?
Yes, that's fine.
Right. Well, with regard to the application for the license for Peri Peri, I thought there were various points that should be addressed. One of which is the premises is actually on the A219, which leads up to the A40 and is a major road. At the moment, from my understanding, there is no provision for waste. And I think one should highlight this is not a restaurant or a wine bar. It's a fast food, takeaway delivery, retail shop, whatever you would like to call it. As a consequence, the idea of having tables outside on a pavement that does not extend further than 3.1 meters suggests to me that you're putting mothers, children, people at risk as they pass into a major A road that leads up to the A40, and that there has been absolutely no provision made for waste disposal. The only rubbish available is across an A road, the 219, outside the library, which is normally overflowing in either instance. And a fast food restaurant produces, as we all know in Caxton Village, a great deal of detritus. Paper bags, we already suffer from it from McDonald's and the various other fast food outlets. There is also no provision made for these takeaway delivery drivers. Where are we assuming they're going to park? They certainly can't park on the A219. which leads us to imagine they think they may park in Bulwer Street. Bulwer Street has been as the councillors are all fully aware, had a number of ASBs, most particularly the corner of Bulwer Street with Wood Lane. And this would only exacerbate the issue. So I'd like to know where they assume these takeaway people are going to be parking. We already have a preponderance of alcohol license. I really don't feel it's necessary. And particularly with a fast food outlet, a restaurant having a license perhaps, but this is not a restaurant. Again, going back to the pavement issue, if they even, first of all, who is going to sit on these tables outside? It is not a restaurant. Is it going to be the delivery people? Are they going to clog the pavement? In which case, what happens to people who want to walk up Wood Lane, perhaps with children, with prams? How are they going to get past? Are they going to be pushed into Wood Lane? As I say, I don't think the council has thought this one through, and I object strenuously actually to the existence of the place at all, let alone the alcohol license. But the alcohol license, we have a preponderance around the green. Again, something has been discussed. It creates public nuisance. We have alcoholics on the green. And in my view, there should be absolutely no change to the license they have, and 11 p.m. should be the latest. I'd also like to know why the council has not addressed waste and what will happen to all the detritus that will accumulate due to the provision of fast food. So I object strongly.
Chair, you're on mute at the moment. Chair, you're still muted.
Have you finished, Catherine? Just nod your head if it's.
You're muted again, Chair.
I'll now come to Katja Oral, if I may, please.
Hello, good evening. I just want to say that I agree with every single point made by Catherine McClancy. And in addition to the points that she's made, I'm also quite concerned about the levels of noise pollution. I am a resident of Bulwer Street, and we currently have plenty of noise which is generated by people going to all the fast food outlets in the surrounding area, and then they peel off into the street where, as has already been mentioned, they drop their detritus, but they also make a lot of noise and urinate and defecate and worse. And I'm concerned that there's also going to be a higher rodent population, because unfortunately I think there will be an issue with the disposal of the food and the waste, and I think that the rodents will then increase. And I think other than that, I have basically all the same points that have already been made. I never would have wanted a place like this to be there in the first place. There are already so many fast food outlets in the area, and I think that the character of the road has been destroyed as a result of the change of the frontage of the venue. And I feel that all the late night licensing and the generation of the sort of population that will be using these facilities will just increase antisocial behaviour, noise, drug taking, alcoholism, and I don't think it's safe either. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
You're on mute again, Chair.
Sorry about that. There's something wrong when I go to unmute. Katja, have you concluded?
Yes, that's all I want to say. I just object violently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll now come to if the other resident hasn't come, then I will now go to Javid Geswala, the applicant, and his representative to speak. You have 10 minutes to speak.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've just noticed that Catherine McClancy's got her hand out.
Catherine.
Yeah, sorry, it was just quickly to say my last point, because I do have to leave. I cannot object more strongly to this application. But I have to leave.
Okay, Catherine, that is noted. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll go back to the applicant and I'll start the time again. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the behalf of Javed Gaswala, the applicant for Peri Peri fast food restaurant. I fully adhere to the concerns of the local residents there, but I just want to make it clear, Javed has made an application to provide hot food takeaway license application, not for alcohol. This is just purely for hot food. So in reference to the concerns raised by the local residents in terms of provision of waste, Javed, the applicant, already has an agreement with the local authority in place to collect his waste every day when it's left outside on the designated time between the 2 hours window to be collected every night. In terms of the outside eating area, there's no request made in the application to place any customers or any people for the seating outside the premises. All the facilities for seating is inside the restaurant or venue. No application is made to seat people outside the restaurant. In reference to takeaway delivery drivers, yes, it is a major road and there is no parking available right immediately outside the property, but the Bulwer Street is already being used by the Chinese takeaway on the other side of the road, which picks up their, the takeaway orders to be taken to home. In reference to noise nuisance, in this Shepherd's Bush and Wood, the Shepherd's Green is a highly busy area. I don't think so. One fast food will make any more contribute to noise than already there is with the pollution and noise from the cars. In reference to all of it, Javed has done so much to the property in order to make it more live and contribute to the local area. And I think it will be a shame not giving him opportunity to thrive his business in this difficult time when there are other restaurants out there by the Uxbridge Road and none on the Wood Lane to provide fast food takeaways restaurant for the local residents. Mainly, if the people have concern about people making noise nuisance, he's happy to be granted a license till midnight, and after that till 1 o'clock just for the deliveries, which he's happy to accept. Therefore, that's the reason Javed has been very cooperative with the police and has amended the license since ours agreed with the police before it came to this committee. That's all, Chair.
Javed, is there anything you wanted to say?
No, I will go with my friend Kamran Raza. Whatever he said, I'm happy with that.
Okay, I'll now come to the stage where the committee members can ask questions. Committee members, do you have questions?
Chair, yes, I do. My question is to either Cameron or the applicant Javed, if I can call you that. Cameron said previously just now that the application wasn't for outdoors, but I think the confusion is that the application that we've received does say outdoors. So I'm looking at the documents that were on the council website, and it says, will the provision of late night refreshment take place indoors, outdoors, or both? And it currently says both. So that's, I think, why you've had residents addressing that. So yeah, that was my first question.
Thank you for your questions. I think there's some sort of a confusion. The application for indoor or outdoors is whether the customers will be taking the food away from the premises or eating on the premises. So that question is not relating to seating outside the premises. That's in relation to whether the food will be as a takeaway or seating inside the restaurant. Does that...
to the licensing officers, I just want to confirm that's correct. So all the everyone on the meeting is aware that that's what that's relating to.
Yes, Councillor, that's correct. It means whether they can sit indoors to eat the food that they've purchased after 11 p.m. if the licence is granted, or to take away after 11 p.m. if the licence is granted.
Thank you. Okay, so that I think that should address the concerns that the residents had about people being seated outdoors, either sort of drivers or customers. That's not covered and is not being asked for. Okay, Chair, I think that's it for now. I'm just going to go over my notes and see if I could come back with any questions, if that's okay.
That's okay for now. Councillor Afonso.
Thank you, Chair. It's for the licensing officers. I read through the reports and saw the police and noise and nuisance didn't have any objections once an agreement had been made to alter the proposed hours. Does this venue have any history of noise and nuisance, any history of antisocial behaviour?
There has been no reported enforcement history as it's detailed in the report. I can't confirm if there has been ever any noise or nuisance complaints because I wouldn't have access to that right now. But like I said, noise and nuisance were happy with the agreement with the police and didn't have any concerns should the licence be granted as the amended conditions with the police.
That's all for me.
Councillor Kwon.
If you don't mind, can I have a question to Katja? I know that you're the only resident representative left, so I'm coming to you. So I know that previously this venue was a wine bar that was also open to quite late. Were there any accompanying problems that you had with noise or sort of patrons and so on, similar to what the objections that you've made towards Peri Peri's application for late night refreshment?
No, none whatsoever. It was a very civilized place.
Okay, and what about their rubbish arrangements? Because I think they probably would have had the same issues in that they would have had to put their rubbish out onto the street in the evenings.
There was never anything and I've been living here for many years now, I think about 16 years. There was never anything when it was called Albertines. It was a wine bar, and that we never had any reason or cause for complaint. They were quite quiet, and the people that went to it were relatively quiet. I mean, occasionally people would walk down the street late at night, but you wouldn't know whether they'd come from the wine bar down the road. But I think that previously it never caused any problems. I think one of the main concerns that we have is more of these motorbikes delivering food and all the accompanying problems.
Right, and that's recent. Obviously, that's much more like in the past sort of 3 or 4 years. And I imagine Albertines didn't have that kind of custom or service for their. Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's all, Chair, from me.
Thank you, Councillor. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, if Javid or Cameron can assist me. Will deliveries be made by your own delivery vehicles, or will it be by third-party delivery companies?
Chair, thank you for the question. At the moment, most of the trade is done within the premises rather than the deliveries, because we are very fairly new. But obviously, that is one of the avenues to compete with the other businesses nearby. So we don't have any delivery facilities within the company. Currently, we will be using third source company drivers to deliver food.
Thank you. My next question is, what kind of where your premises is located? It's as we've heard, it's opposite Bulwer Street and McFarlane Road, which are both very residential roads, and Wood Lane itself is a 24/7. No parking and no waiting zone. So I'm wondering, when you do have deliveries, where they're going to stop their vehicles.
So, Chair, at the moment, the deliveries that we are getting, and they are parking opposite into the one-way system when they come up the Bulwer Street, right to the end where the restaurant is, Thai Food, which is a Chinese restaurant, which is the commercial end of the Bulwer Street, just on the back of the University of BPP University.
Yeah, I know the street, and the there are, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are residential premises above the Chinese restaurant, and there are also residential premises above the premises you'll be using.
Yeah, I mean, there are all the upper parts of on the Uxbridge Road are residential parts. The whole street, and even the property that Javed or the applicant is renting also has upper parts as residential.
Yeah, so you wouldn't you wouldn't have a problem understanding that residents see the impact of delivery traffic on residential roads, and there is no commercial end. So if you can just hang on, and so if you can maybe talk to me about what's going to happen with the residents' concerns, because these mopeds and bikes and cars, etc., do create a nuisance, and I think that's what the residents were indicating at. Please go ahead.
As Chair said before, at the moment, most of our trade is done within this store, because our major clientele is people coming from the Westfield shopping centre and into the restaurant, and then going ahead into Shepherd's Bush Market Station or the or to the Ecton side. The people or the delivery drivers that we do have are currently using Bulwer Street, which is on the opposite side of the road. Yes, you're absolutely right. There are residents within that premises, and the nuisance that does get created by these drivers is not, it cannot be controlled. So we're not going to make any promises here for something that is beyond our control.
Okay, and you mentioned the using the local stations. Correct me if I'm wrong, the last trains were around about 12 o'clock at night.
Yes, and on the weekend, the Shepherd's Bush Underground station runs 24-hour.
And Westfield closes, I think, other than the cinema,
around 10 o'clock. Yes.
Around 10 o'clock. And do you have any projections about the number of deliveries you're going to be making, sort of on your busy nights, on the Friday and Saturday night, and also the Sunday night? So we can get an idea of the number of vehicles that are going to be coming and going to these premises and parking up in the side roads.
Well, at the moment, we like I said, we haven't got a big sort of numbers, but of course these will be increasing as we get the trade gets passed and the word gets around. Obviously, there's a restaurant around at the moment. I think on the weekends we are doing about 10 deliveries to 15 deliveries after 11 o'clock. That's the numbers we are at right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that if you're not employing the delivery companies directly, then they're not going to. You can't prescribe rules and regulations for them to follow beforehand. But
I mean, at the moment,
sorry,
we very much.
If I just finish my question, the typical delivery couriers that we see, and I would imagine will be visiting your premises as well, they really don't give a hoot about double yellow lines and parking restrictions. This is a narrow part of the road with numerous bus services and a crossing nearby. Would you, if you were aware that people were parking on Wood Lane and disregarding the regulations, would you decline to allow them to pick up the delivery orders?
So when we set up the R accounts, they clearly ask us where the drivers should park their vehicles. So we made a clear mention that they should park in the nearby available bays, which was on the opposite side of the Bulwer Street, or the Uxbridge Road. That's the agreement that we have with the delivery company.
So did you say Uxbridge Road?
Sorry, I mean, it's Bulwer Street, and there's I think the Caxton Road, or sorry, I'm just trying to go by the notes. The other side of the street, which on the Uxbridge Road, which is off the Uxbridge Road, where there's a small stand where bikes can park up.
Okay, do you know which street?
Sorry, my internet's quite. I am trying to use the map. So it's at Eldine Street.
Okay, no further questions for now. Councillor Kwong, Councillor Fonso, do you have any further questions?
Not from me, Chair.
Katja, I can see your hand is raised, but I can't allow you to ask questions at this stage. Was there something very important you needed to say?
I just wanted to clarify something very, very briefly, which is that Bulwer Street is one way down one end. And so the only way that these delivery drivers would be able to get to this place would be if they drove down Aldine Street and then down Bulwer Street. So they would cause a lot of nuisance to the residents, because I think that Mr. Raza was under the impression that there is a commercial end of Bulwer Street. There isn't. There's residents all the way down Bulwer Street. And so to use Bulwer Street as a parking space and then to use the surrounding roads to get access, because it's a no entry on that point on Wood Lane, would actually cause more noise, more pollution and more disturbance to the residents. That was just the point I wanted to make.
In this instance, Katja, can I thank you for clearing that up, because I think the committee will find that useful. Are there any other further questions from the committee members? No. Okay, then I will now move on to the next stage of the meeting, which is the summing up. So please can the parties sum up in 3 minutes in the following order. Firstly, the licensing officer, Lorna McKenna.
Nothing further to add, Chair.
Resident objectors, Katja, I might allow you a little bit of extra time because the other residents have gone, but I would appreciate if you can stick to 3 minutes, please.
Thank you. I don't think I have a lot further to add, because I think that Catherine McClancy and myself have made ourselves very clear. Nobody in the area, and I'm speaking on behalf of many of the residents here, we're part of a residents association, actually want this business in the area anyway. I'm terribly sorry to say that, but we also don't want the traffic that's going to be generated by it, or the noise, or the detritus. And so I'm afraid I don't have anything positive to say. I just have objections, and that's basically as much as I want to add at this point. Thank you.
Thank you for putting it so succinctly. And if you've got nothing further to say, I will now ask Javid Gaswala and Cameron Raza to sum up. You have a total of 6 minutes to speak.
Chair, thank you for again to provide the opportunity to sum up the whole thing. I think we've come to the conclusion that the seating outside is not an issue. That was just a confusion. In reference to a provision of waste, as I already said, Javed is already in the contract with the local authority to collect their waste every day. So that's within the 2-hour window. So that's already I think sets out the worries of the local residents. The only issue that we do have is the takeaway delivery drivers. Now, I completely understand the point of residents that they create nuisance. Obviously, you know, that they're not controlled by any individuals. They have their own way of, you know, working standards, as I should say. But I don't think so. The attitudes of others should be put upon the businesses, how they deal with it. Yes, we have a say in it that we refuse it, but Javed is willing, the applicant is willing to accept that the license is granted without any deliveries and allowed the restaurant to at least run through for the local residents if they want to make up. You have to understand that the businesses do thrive by the locals, and there are some locals who don't want to enjoy these places, but they do not speak of the most of the population who have been attending this premises and enjoying the food of it to be disregarded. That's all we have to say, and we really much ask the committee to think carefully upon that this business does need a provision of late night refreshment in order to operate. How you want to condition it with the delivery or takeaway drivers, that is something that can be agreed upon with the council or the committee in order to work this out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cameron. Javid, did you want to add anything?
No, I'll go with the Kamran. I'm absolutely happy with whatever he said. I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you everybody for being so succinct and brief. I'll now come to the next stage of the meeting, which is the deliberations. So the committee will now retire to take its decision in a separate meeting room. You're welcome to remain in the meeting to hear the committee's decision. However, this may take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on the council's website tomorrow morning. Can I ask members to turn off their video, mute their microphones, and join the private Teams meeting for deliberations, please?
Hi, okay. Is
That's just rejoining.
Is everybody back who should be, Charles? And are we ready to start?
Yeah, Councillor Afonso has just rejoined, so I was just renaming him. Mr. Cameron Raz has dropped off the call, but the applicant has his hand raised, Chair.
We don't have any facility to talk to him. We were just going to announce our decision.
No, that's right. I'm just letting you know that he hasn't joined.
Okay, are we ready to start?
Yes, Chair, you are live, yes.
Thank you. This is the summary decision of the licensing subcommittee, 24th of October 2023. The committee has considered an application for a new premises license for the provision of late night refreshment operating as a hot food restaurant and takeaway under the Licensing Act 2003. In summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all of the individual circumstances of this case and the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, to grant the license as amended by the police. The license becomes operational with immediate effect. If problems are experienced, then an application for review of the premises license can be made. A copy of this committee's full decision, including its reasons and the full text of the conditions added to the license, will be sent to the parties forthwith. If the applicant is unhappy with the decision, they are entitled to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days. Within 21 days notification of the full decision. Thank you very much, and good night. And we will be coming back at 8 o'clock because there is another hearing. Thank you, everyone.
Can I have some dark chocolate? Huh? Can I have some dark chocolate, please?
Hello, Charles. Are we ready to start?
Yes, Chair. Yes, everyone's present. The committee members are present. The resident objector and also the applicant are present, Chair. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's licensing subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Paul Alexander. Somebody got a microphone on? Welcome to tonight's licensing subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Paul Alexander. I will be chairing tonight's meeting. The meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. If I lose connection and can't reconnect, Councillor Borroquan will take over for me. I'd like to remind all participants of a few rules. You must keep your microphone off unless you are speaking. Please keep your camera turned on when you speak at the hearing. Please note that the chat function is disabled. If parties wish to add any additional information other than at their allotted time to speak, they must use the raise hand function so they are not missed. I also ask that members keep their questions and comments brief and to the point. I now move to item 1 on the agenda. Apologies for absence. Item 2, declarations of interest. Do members have any declarations of interest?
No, not from me, Chair.
Next item, Big Yellow Storage Unit, U15, 71 Townmead Road, London Southwest 6 2ST. I would like to ask everyone participating to introduce yourselves as I call on you. We should have with us Jarasinda Dodja.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Thank you. Lorna McKenna, Licensing Officer.
Present, Chair.
Adrian Overton, Licensing Team Manager.
Present. Thank you, Chair.
Emmanuel Amponza, the Council's Legal Officer.
Present, Chair.
And objecting, Julian Cooper, Resident. Can you hear us, Julian? Can you just say yes if you can? Is your microphone working?
Julian, sorry, I can find my hi there. Sorry, Julian Cooper, neighbourhood chair, Sands End.
Thank you, Julian. And if you can now mute your microphone, please.
Yeah.
The procedure. Please, may I quickly explain the procedure? We will hear from the following. The licensing officer will introduce the application, then the resident in objection, and finally the applicant. Usually each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes. Following the presentation by all the parties, the committee may ask questions of any party or any other person present at the hearing. Except committee members, no party has the right to ask questions of any other party at any time during the hearing. Following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their case of representation. The committee will then retire for deliberations. Upon its return, I will announce the committee's decision. Please keep your remarks as concise as possible. I'm the presenting officer. Can I ask the licensing officer, Lorna McKenna, to introduce this application, please?
Thank you, Chair. On the 24th of August 2023, INJ Drinks Limited, the applicant, submitted an application for a new premises licence to be granted in respect of the premises known as Big Yellow Storage Unit U15, 71 Townmead Road, London, SW6 2ST. The applicant has applied for a new premises licence for the sale of alcohol off the premises via an online retail location. The licensable activity sought in the original application was for the sale of alcohol off the premises Mondays to Sundays from midnight to midnight, and the opening hours of the premises would not be open to the general public. On the 2nd of October 2023, the Noise and Nuisance team withdrew their representation as the applicant agreed to reduce the hours for the sale of alcohol off the premises and add an additional condition should the licence be granted. The amended hours that we are considering this evening are as follows. The sale of alcohol off the premises only, Monday to Sundays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. The premises will not be open to the general public. During the consultation period, the licensing section received 2 representations from local residents objecting to the application. The application has been advertised in alignment with the Act. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Lorna. I'll now come to the resident objector, Julian Cooper. I hope your microphone's going to work for you. You have 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I am the neighbourhood chair of Sands End, and I've been the chair for 2 years, and I've been focusing on crime in and around this area, which is Townmead Road, which is the road that the Big Yellow is on. Unfortunately for our ward, we've had some very, very bad crime in the last 3 years. We've had 3 nasty machete stabbings, and all in the same area, all around Imperial Wharf, and all generally congregated nearby the Tesco's. So I've been dealing for the last 3 years with some residents, local authorities, police, gang violence to try and sort out that level of violence. So we've had some success. It's against that backdrop, really, that I am concerned for multiple reasons. Yes, I know it's not open to the public. Now, I've got that bit. But my objection really is, as somebody who's in this game property, my concern is, first of all, that having management over lots of scooters coming up and down, as they do, speeding up and down Townmead Road, as everyone knows they do, be they Domino's pizzas, be they Deliveroo, late at night is not good. And even during the day, it's unacceptable. There are no speed cameras down there. They ignore it. And, you know, it's a family area. And it's a family area where what was once residential come industrial has slowly become more residential. Now, where the site is, you've got 2 residential sites directly opposite. You've got a converted church, which is becoming residential. And then you've got the large, I think they call it the Chelsea Botanic, that's going around there. And so my concern is it's multiple, really. It's one, the noise and the disturbance of the drivers. I know the applicant has said that the drivers will be controlled and they will come on site. Well, my first question to that is, how does one manage that? Number one, what is the management plan for that? I haven't seen any management plan. And number two, that doesn't negate the speeding going back and forth. My second real concern is the precedent it creates and sort of what's known as sort of dark kitchens and these sort of, I can call them esoteric retail offerings that have only really come about in the last 5 years. And I'm concerned as much about that as a precedent as I am about the applicant's use or proposed use. In other words, once you give a license, we all know it's hard to take it away. And then before we know it, a new owner or the existing applicant has a new business. And then we get, in effect, a sort of commercial mini retail hub being activated within what is a quiet residential area. Now, nobody objects to the Big Yellow because it's basically shut at night. It's a benign use and it's not antisocial. What is being proposed feels off-key, antisocial, of no benefit to the neighbours, and positively a disbenefit if people congregate and or, as they will do, speed up and down Townmead and then cut through Bagleys, because that's what happens.
Julian, you've got about a minute left, so I'll let
That's it. That is it. I'm done.
you did have a minute left. Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you. If I come to Jarasin, the applicant, to speak.
Yeah, hello team, and thanks Julian. I totally understand your objections towards this application, and please note I would like to clear out few things in a short and simple way, so there will be no doubts. So the first thing, we as an online retailer, we will be trading as per the amended hours until 11 o'clock, and the other thing, we will not deliver any do any orders by with the help of Deliveroo and Uber Eats drivers. So we have got our own delivery drivers, and which will be delivering the orders. And I will tell you about the management, how we used to run. So the thing is that all the drivers come only once. Please note, they will come at the storage only once to load their cars, and they will go to in different areas and just stay there until any order comes. So how we run, we got multiple sites across London. So all the drivers doesn't need to come back at the premises and to collect their orders. So most of the stock, as we sell groceries, and alcohol and spirits. So they will not come again and again at the warehouse to load their cars. So only one time they will come. We got a team of 5 drivers for now, and this is how we're gonna work. So there will be no issues of noise pollution and about your concerns. Thank you.
Can I just follow? Am I allowed to follow?
No,
up?
Julian. Sorry, I'll stop you.
Right,
You'll get a chance to sum up later on in the hearing. Raj, have you finished?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll now come to the committee, and the committee. Do you have any questions, please?
Yes, Chair, I've got some questions primarily for Raj at this point. I think I misunderstood from your application that it was the kind of business that Julian was talking about. So I understood it to be a little bit like Uber Eats, Deliveroo, I think it's called Getter as well, who do a sort of app groceries delivery service for individual kind of households, the general public. What you just said sounds like it's more like a warehouse for kind of like a mobile grocery delivery service. So you're saying that your drivers are in cars rather than motorcycles, is that correct? And that they will stock up once with an order of groceries and then they will move somewhere else and then deliver to households. Is that correct?
Yes, that is totally right. So I'll tell you a bit more about how we work. So mostly all the businesses who are in the same, who have the licenses, who run the premises, license with this kind of business in e-commerce, all the drivers comes only once to the warehouse and load their cars, and they will move to different areas. So just like someone who is in NW1 Camden, somebody is in Hackney, someone is in Ealing. So 4 to 5 drivers and stays in that area, where there is no public places and any kind of people who can get disturbed. So as soon as the order comes, I get an order at my Deliveroo tablet, and I just send it to my driver. So so that's it.
So you are working with Deliveroo and Uber Eats?
Yes, just Deliveroo and Uber Eats. So we will just trade with these platforms and with our own drivers option.
Okay, so you do work, you get your orders through Deliveroo and Uber Eats, but your drivers, you don't use their kind of single job fleet. You've got your own fleet of drivers.
That is correct.
Right, and just to understand the sort of operational side of it, you say they only come once. So they must be in vans or like large cars if they're holding a sufficient amount of stock to be able to handle the orders that come in.
Yeah, so they don't come with usually big cars, just a normal sedan cars, and they load their cars half with groceries and a bit of spirits and all the essential household items and everything. And yeah, so the main reason of loading all together once is we mostly our agenda is to deliver each and every order in 15 minutes. So coming back to the warehouse and for different orders it take a lot of time. So this is how we work, and yes, they will not come back again and again at the warehouse to collect the order. So they will do it all together once.
So you almost act like a kind of a middleman kind of service between people who use between Deliveroo and the riders. So rather than I know that they're drivers, not riders, but whereas a typical what we think of as an Uber Eats or Deliveroo grocery delivery person would be on a motorcycle or a bike or some kind of one-person vehicle going between the warehouse and the site and the individual's home. That's not happening. That all the orders are coming through you.
That is right. Yeah. So the orders will come to us, and under our business we'll be trading, and yes, this is how it works.
Okay. So if what you said earlier was correct, you've got. Did you say you have 5 drivers? Did I hear that correctly? Or
yes, that is right.
So it's 5 drivers that will be using the Big Yellow storage unit in this application, and you're saying they will only come once every 24 hours?
Yes, once they come only in the morning. I think around 10 o'clock in the morning, and they will load their cars, and they will never come back in the same day on the same day. So the next day all the drivers come and they just do the top up. Sorry. Do the top up of the stock they have sold. So this is how we work.
So there's no motorcycles going in and out at the moment?
No.
And the business is operational. You're running this service at the moment just without the alcohol, is that correct?
Pardon?
So are you doing grocery, are you doing this at the moment just without alcohol?
We do alcohol as well. So with this premise, we are not doing anything, but I'm talking about.
At the moment, you're not?
No, we haven't started any trading. Of course, we don't have the license.
Okay.
We cannot open this site, until and unless we get a premises license. So just to apply with this premises was our agenda was, because to open a virtual store in South London, you need a premises and a premises license. And yeah, we do have 5 to 6 premises license all over London. But when you like, for an example, if you open your Deliveroo app and if you want to order something, you will obviously see the timings.
So where else, if you don't mind me asking, where else in London are you currently trading this business model?
So we're currently trading in Ealing, and we have a 24 hours license in Hackney as well. Yes, that's the thing.
And is it the same kind of arrangement? Are you in a storage unit or some kind of like an industrial site, or do you operate differently in those locations?
So we got a 24 hours license. So this is how we work. But we trade there in the night time. So around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So
yeah. So but the storage places you use, are they like Big Yellow storage, or are they a shop?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, they are the storages. All are the self storages. So one is the attic storage, one is the magenta storage, and Big Yellow safe store.
And in those places, are you operating like the way you've described to us? Your drivers are just coming once in the morning or once a day to stock up?
Sometimes they need to come back, once if because we don't usually give a lot of stock to the drivers, so only a bit, the cribs, and they don't have that much of weight. So, but in case we give them few wines and few beers, but sometimes when we get good amount of orders, they do need to come back. So yes. But with this premises, I will assure you they will not come back. So we will do a limited orders, and there will be no chance of noise and pollution.
Okay, Chair, that's just my questions for now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Afonso.
Thank you. And can I just say, Councillor Kwan did quite the good cross section there, covered most of what I was going to say. So brilliant. So I do have one question. I read, interestingly, your correspondence between licensing and yourselves with great interest, that at points it seemed like stuff would be operating out of your Ealing base. Answers you've given indicate that the drivers would have a stock of this stuff in their cars anyway. So my question is, like, if this business model is successful, why would you ever reject the opportunity to use delivery drivers? Because it seems to me, once you have that license, once you are on delivery, there is nothing stopping you using their delivery drivers. So basically my question is the long-term goal, if capacity increases, are you just going to use delivery drivers?
Yes, very nice question. So the thing is, delivery charges a lot if they give their drivers. So I'm talking about the commission rate. So, with our own drivers, they don't charge that much commission, But yes, if our business, we are a small business. So in future, if our business, increases and sales increases, then yes, definitely we will plan with our own drivers. But with this premises, if I talk, we will only do a limited orders, because we don't pressurize our drivers that much. So we are happy with small amount of orders. And as per the objectors, just want to assure them there will be no chance of noise, and we will maintain peace in the neighborhood.
That's all from me, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Afonso. I have a couple of questions. Raj, just looking at the plan of the premises, how long have you been at Unit 15?
We have been we have just made the contract, and it's been around just a month.
Okay. And is it a first floor or a ground floor unit?
Well, that's a first floor.
First floor unit. And roughly what's the size of the unit?
So I think that's 20 square feet.
20 square feet. So what about 5 foot by 4 foot wide? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And how do you stock up with your goods? How do you get them into the unit in order to distribute them?
Sorry, not yet. So we cannot do it until and unless we have a proper premises license and approval from the council.
No. So how would you propose to bring your how will the stuff get to your unit in the first place?
So the thing is that for now, we haven't planned. We'll just start with the groceries and a few wines. And in the South London, we will do as I cleared before, we will do a number of limited orders. So we are not planning to expand that level to that business to that level, but we will manage a couple of drivers loading with that unit. And if in future, if we get a good response with the orders, we will plan to move to a bigger unit, and we'll apply for a new premises license.
Okay. And the type of produce you'll be distributing from this place, does that include perishable goods, or is it just fresh produce?
No, just the normal crisps and pre-packed things and wines such like Casillero wines, red wine, rose wine, and
so it's just processed goods, and there's no refrigeration requirements.
There's no refrigeration.
Okay, and the Yeah, so I'll stop there and just see if any of my colleagues want to ask any questions. Councillor Kwan or Councillor Afonso?
I've got one question to the applicant, which is just about security. Have you had any sort of issues with security, sort of theft, I guess it would be assault of any of your drivers if it's known that they're carrying alcohol? We heard some concerns from the local resident representative about antisocial behaviour and assaults and sort of quite serious instances of crime happening in that area. And I guess the concern is if it becomes known that you're storing alcohol at that facility and there isn't adequate security, that could be a risk, or it could attract a criminal activity.
Yeah, so we never faced anything till date, and that's why we prefer our drivers to use cars, instead of motorbikes, because in car at least they are a bit more safe. Yes, and we didn't face anything till date.
And I guess related to that, the what kind of alcohol is it? It's sort of value-wise. Are we talking beers and wines and things like that, or do you sell more expensive like bottled spirits and things like that?
No, we don't sell. We are not planning to sell, or we will never plan to sell. That high price alcohol bottles and brands. So we will just deal with normal like Budweiser, normal Corona, and Casillero wines, and which are cheaper in price, and we can offer our customers in a cheap price. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it from me, Chair.
Okay. I have a couple of questions for our local resident Julian Cooper. If you can assist the committee with a couple of points. Having heard what the application business is, do you think this is going to cause a problem? Do you still think this is going to cause a problem in the area? I'm sorry, you're on mute, so we haven't heard a word of what you said.
Hi there. I think the answer to that is having heard the applicant, and I'll give the applicant his due. He's been candid in the business model, and he has reassured at a level. My big concern, and I suspect it's the same concern everyone else shares, is what limitation is going to be placed on him if you give him a license. The type of vehicles that are used going forward, because the subtext is clear. If it takes off, there'll be more traffic. If there'll be more traffic, he's likely to have more cars and or his own motorbikes. And so, what are we going to do about that eventuality, assuming he's successful? In other words, what is the limitation there? I mean, I don't want to stop business for gratuitously stopping business, far from it. But I do see a scenario where if he's very successful, then suffice to say, you're going to have cars and his motorbikes going in and out, up until the 11 o'clock. So what sort of condition would be placed on that?
Thank you. If I can come back to Ed with your deliveries, just sort of working out the sizes. So you would stock your warehouse up once a day, and then you would just break that delivery down and distribute that by five cars. Yeah, have I got that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions other than, could you tell me where? Sorry, and I'll go back to Julian. Julian, can you tell me how you found out about this license application?
Sorry, I found out about it because I'm on the I'm planning.
Thank you. Can I ask licensing, where was the public notice displayed for this application?
I believe it was displayed outside the premises. Let me just I can just double check the records because we have copies of the photos just for confirmation. There was one place on the gates outside of the entrance of the big yellow storage.
And were the gates open or were they closed at the time?
One moment, I'm just having to rotate the picture. I can't tell from the. It's on the. It looks to. It's on the. Sorry, it's on a fence outside the big yellow storage, so they wouldn't be open or closed. It looks like it's on a fence, and you can see where it says reception behind.
I'm just looking at a street.
So the reception. So from the one of the photos that I'm viewing now, where the big yellow storage reception is, you can see the doors where it says reception in big red letters. It's on a fence that is directly parallel to that on the outside of the premises.
Okay, so that wouldn't be an area where the public who weren't visiting the big yellow would have seen the sign.
Without looking at Google Maps, I wouldn't be able to. But it is on the. It's on. I can see the path, which is the public highway, outside the premises. In the pictures.
Yeah, I'm just getting confused because the reception is probably about 50 yards further back from the from Town Mid Road itself. Sorry, Lorna, while you're doing that, Reg, can you remember where the sign was put up? And did you put it up or did somebody put it up for you?
Yeah, can I just say that if the application has been made and the sign.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I just want to ascertain something.
From looking at Google Maps, and comparing the picture that we have on file, it's the entrance to Big Yellow Storage is on Town Mead Road, opposite residential properties, where people could walk past and easily see the site notice.
Thank you for confirming that. And just go back. So Julian, you became aware of this application by virtue of being on a mailing list, not because you actually were able to see the sign wherever it was posted.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Thank you, Julian. I have no further questions unless Councillor Kwan and Councillor Alfonso have any further questions.
No, not from me, Chair.
Then okay, then we will move on, and we will now go to the summing up, and I will ask the licensing officer, Lorna McKenna, to sum up, please. You have 3 minutes, Lorna.
Nothing further to add, Chair.
Julian Cooper, Julian Cooper, you have 3 minutes in which you can sum up your objections, please.
Well, I think I would just say, having heard the applicant, you know, what I want is some form of condition. I am happy with it on the proviso that there is a condition that limits the number of vehicle movements and/or in particular stops him using third parties that he has no control of, i.e. delivery, etc. And/or if he does have motorbikes, you know, how's he going to control that? So, you know, maybe a condition on just having cars and the number of vehicle movements in some form. I mean, that's what my concern is. I'm not trying to be gratuitous. I'm reassured by the fact that he says he doesn't wish to use third parties for commercial reasons. You know, can a condition be put upon that he's forced to use his own vehicles, and/or those vehicles can't be motorbikes, and/or if they are motorbikes and they're his, that he is limited, and you know there's a management plan in place, because we all know what's going to happen if it takes off. You know, it will just up and down will be a cut through, and it will, you know, it will be noisy and antisocial.
Have you concluded, Julian?
I've concluded. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will now come to the applicant. Raj, would you like to sum up? And you have a total of 3 minutes.
No, that's everything. So, yep, from my side.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much. We'll now come to the deliberation stage. The committee will now retire to take its decision in a separate meeting room. You are welcome to remain in the meeting to hear the committee's decision. However, this may take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on the council's website tomorrow morning. Can I ask members to turn off their video, mute their microphones, and join the private Teams meeting for deliberations? Thank you. Francis, are we ready to start?
Yes, Chair. Councillor Kwan isn't with us at the moment.
Sorry, I just got confused between my two video apps.
Right, the applicant and the objector are still on the call, but neither of them have got their camera on. So, but obviously the decision is going to be on the website tomorrow morning, so you can proceed with the decision, Chair. You're muted at the moment.
Thank you. This is the summary decision of the licensing subcommittee, 24th of October 2023. Big Yellow Storage, Unit U15, 71 Townmead Road, London Southwest 6 2ST. The committee has considered an application for a new premise license for the sale of alcohol off the premises via an online retail location under the Licensing Act 2003. In summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all of the individual circumstances of the case and the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, to 1, grant the application as amended by the Noise and Nuisance team, 2, modify the conditions as set out below. The premises shall install and maintain a comprehensive CCTV system. All entry and exit points will be covered, enabling frontal identification of every person entering in any light condition. The CCTV system shall continuously record whilst the premise is open for licensable activities and during all times when customers remain on the premises. All recordings shall be stored for a minimum of 31 days with date and time stamping. Recordings shall be made available immediately upon the request of the police or authorised officer throughout the preceding 31-day period. Deliveries shall only be made to persons aged over 18. The delivery shall be signed for and photographic proof of age shall be requested and recorded. Deliveries shall be made to a building which is used for residential and or work purposes. Deliveries shall not be made to outdoor spaces. The licence becomes operational with immediate effect. If problems are experienced, then an application for review of the premises licence can be made. A copy of this committee's full decision, including its reasons and the full text of the conditions added to the licence, will be sent to the parties forthwith. If the applicant is unhappy with the decision, they are entitled to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision. Thank you, and I wish you all good night.